two of the most interesting prospects, I think, in this draft. You got your two valedictorians. We talked about them. We just went over the wild card right there. Here comes another wild card, but this is it's like a lottery pick if you can, keep the ticket. And then, it's like having a mid-year vet coming in here with Hendon Hooker. Let's go into Anthony Richardson, a behemoth of a talent. And I'm just going to give you guys the time. Clint, is Anthony Richardson worth the gamble? And when I'm talking about the gamble, I'm talking about if you're a GM picking, could be 1 through 7. And I don't know why people aren't talking about Anthony Richardson at 1. If you've got Ryan Tannehill there at the Panthers, why can't you just give him the ball and let Richardson watch for a year or two like Mahomes? Because Mahomes was not a pro-style kid at A&M. At Tech. He was all over the field. Learned to be a pro under Alex Smith. A, why is that not a scenario? And B, where do you stand on him on the gamble for his upside?
Well, look, guys, this is combos around where Anthony Richardson should be drafted that don't start with and strongly consist of fit, scheme, and who's calling the plays are crazy as hell to me. To just flippantly say Anthony Richardson's a top 5 or top 10 draft pick, I can't get there with Ant. I think we've got to recalibrate the way that we evaluate quarterbacks in 2023 relative to transitioning to the NFL. Like the days of everybody being pro style and every quarterback being 6'3", 225 or bigger and fitting in the pocket and being a 3, 5, 7-step guy, those days are over, but yet we all still talk about them like that. Mm-hmm. Like we've got to start talking about quarterbacks year in, year out with the majority of the prospects more so about fit. So I think Anthony Richardson, he symbolizes that right there more than any quarterback in this draft. If Anthony Richardson is available, which I think he will be, when Indy drafts at number 4, I think he's a top 5 pick. I think he's a top 10 pick. Shane Steichen, fresh off of what we just watched him do with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
First-year quarterback, first-year head coach. So he's got a runway. He's going to have 3, 4, 5 years to be patient with a quarterback. He's got the ability to protect the quarterback and allow that guy to really make the game vanilla by using his legs, simplify the game by using his legs, and it's a perfect fit. You play him early, you let him get through, you let him develop, you let him get through all the struggles. Shane knows how to protect him. We saw it firsthand. Hell, it's why you hired him if you're the Indianapolis Colts, Shane Steichen. I think that's where Anthony Richardson fits as a top 5 draft pick. I do not think that it's smart with the other guys that are available. I don't think it's smart to go Anthony Richardson at Carolina, for instance, like Frank Reich, Josh McCown, Thomas Howard. Those are Carson Wentz. Those are Josh McCown played himself. Obviously, Thomas Howard. He had a success with the Rams with what's my man's name out there? With the Rams, Stafford. Just won a Super Bowl.
Stafford.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford. That's we can sit around and talk about all these offensive coordinators like, any NFL offensive coordinator should know how to use a quarterback's legs and simplify the game. No, man. It ain't that easy.
You're right. TK, how do you see him?
Obviously, the most upside of anybody, and I'm not going to say any position, but the dude is an absolute freak when he steps on the field. A freak. And we saw flashes of unbelievable greatness this past year, but we also saw flashes of a young guy that hasn't played too much ball, that made dumb decisions, that didn't really look like he had the grasp of the team around him and just a grasp for the game. So we were all talking about, like, golly, this is one guy that would benefit so much from one more year playing in a Florida uniform. But how do you blame him? he's arguably a top 5 pick and probably go in the top 5 this year. How do you pass up on that money, that opportunity? But Clint, you made a great point. It's going to be about fit. And if you look at some of these years past, Jordan Love, Trey Lance, Pat Mahomes, even guys that were drafted in the first round that had the ability to sit back for a year or two and learn. I think if the opportunity presented itself, that would be great for Anthony Richardson. If he goes to an Indy, he's going to go out there and shine. He just has too many tools. He's going to beat out Nick Foles. He's going to beat out Gardner Minshew. And then Sam Ehlinger is the only other guy on that roster. So he may not have the ability to sit back. He's going to get thrown into the fire, and we'll see how he responds. You made some great points about the staff there at Indy, Clint, but if the opportunity was there where he could sit behind somebody for a year, I think that would be the best case for Anthony Richardson. And then he's going to go kill it because of his upside, his arm strength. But I just don't think he's going to be afforded that. He's going to get thrown into fire, and he's going to take his lumps for a little while until he figures it out.
Hack, how do you see Richardson in this year's draft?
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it. High risk, high reward. I think a little bit unlike Pat. He's what did he start? 13 games in college.
Yeah,
12 games in college.
That puts him like Trey Lance.
I mean, it's Trey. It's Mitch. Mitch played 1 year.
Yep.
So there's a lot of unknown with that. And the fit thing's a great point. The other thing is, just a guy being able to go disappear. And a place like Indianapolis, it's not a big market. Yeah, there's pressure, but in terms of
that's a good
point. The coach being able to take those lumps and justify that, and also, how it is, Clint, self-consciously, the coach justify putting his neck on the line for that. Whereas if he was in Dallas, that leash is a lot shorter than it is in Indianapolis or elsewhere.
Right.
So when you're talking about a high risk, high reward guy, if the opportunity presents itself and it makes sense early in the draft, great. And again, we talk about this all the time, but first round, second, the shit does not matter. It is about fit. And at the end of the day, if Anthony Richardson, for some crazy ass reason, slips to the 4th round and it's a great situation, he's not going to have any pressure. He's going to be able to be put in the right situation and develop. And at the end of the day, it ain't where you start, it's where you finish. And for him, being in that situation is key. And I think whether it's number 4 at Indianapolis, whether it's, 73 at wherever the fuck that is, to me, it doesn't matter. He's got the tools to be able to be successful. Probably one of the most freakish guys when you just watch him, what he does, how he does, that we've seen ever. Can you put him there? Can you get him to process? Can you get him playing confident? And can you afford to do that as an organization, as a coach, as a play caller, to also be able to feed your family? So there's a lot of elements that go into it, but I think that's the type of prospect he is.
Hack, the most fascinating thing, man, but you mentioned it, you alluded to it a couple of times there. The most fascinating thing about Anthony Richardson is this is, from a tangible skill set perspective, this is the best quarterback prospect we've ever seen. Ever. This is Cam Newton with Mike Vick's arm. I mean, think about that. That's what we're talking about here. There's no might be. I mean, from a quarterback perspective, I don't give a damn if he ever works out in the NFL. When you talk about quarterbacks that go through the process, quarterbacks that are drafted top 10, top 15, quarterbacks that are handed the keys to an organization, we've never seen in the NFL, we've never seen a quarterback with those measurables, with that speed, and with that whip. We've never seen it.
Then let's go.
And the shit's on tape too.
Come on, man.
All the stuff that's out there.
Let's go then right now.
It ain't working out. It ain't, hey, I threw this ball through, hit the top of the freaking dome. It's on tape.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's just go with it. Hack, who's your comp for Anthony Richardson? Real quick.
I don't have one. I don't have one. Fucking, who's your comp? I don't know.
I'm
blend
gonna roll with Josh Allen. When you talk about size and when you talk about a natural thrower of the football, natural passer of the football, I say thrower, not passer, excuse me. When you talk about a natural thrower of the football, and a big guy that can run it, I gotta go with Josh Allen is the best that I can come up with for Anthony Richardson.
TK.
Yeah, you stole mine, Clint. I was going to say, obviously from a size standpoint, he's Cam. He can run off tackle and gain a couple yards. But Mike Vick, man, he's got the whip arm action. He's got the juice to him. He can go and make plays, and he can. This is the thing. If you go back and watch Mike Vick's highlights, the dude
Unreal.
just took over games by himself with his arm to Deshaun Jackson down the field, or just took off with his legs. And I think that Anthony Richardson is that type of guy where it doesn't matter what the defense is that he's going up against or who's on that side of the ball. Like, he can just completely take over a game because he's that much more superior in terms of athleticism than everybody else on the field. So I'll throw one more out there. Again, very different, but Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's a guy that completely changed the game of football from the quarterback position in the way that he plays. And I think Anthony Richardson is going to come in and he's going to be able to do things that maybe we've never seen before.